Rise, our friends, and we're welcome to Newry Homing Pigeon Society here in Newry. We're going to go in and check out and learn a bit about racing pigeons. Rise, our friends, and welcome back. And we're in the Homing Pigeon Society here in the old Chinatown part of Newry. And we're going to talk to Ron McKelvey. Ron, for the benefit of our viewers out there, can you tell us how the whole racing pigeon system works?
Well, I'll do the best that I can.
Good man.
The Newry District Pigeon Club, I think, has been formed way over 60 years. At present we have 28 members, including partnerships is probably near 40.
Right.
It's a very, very keen sport. Competition is very, very high, particularly in this club. We have Ron Williamson here, who is regarded by all pigeon fanciers throughout the world as probably one of the very, very best. As pigeons command very, very high sums of money.
Good man, Ron.
The record price for a pigeon is £310,000.
What?
That was sold
For a pigeon? Serious?
sold 2 years ago on a pigeon auction site.
God.
From Belgium. The biggest market for pigeons would appear to be China at the moment.
Right.
The Chinese, the very rich Chinese people.
Oh, big raiser for all the rich Chinese people out there. Support our Banter show.
They spend fortunes.
Wow.
I think it's a bit of kudos. They seem to think that if they own the most expensive pigeon in the world, it gives them a lot of kudos. Anyway, and as far as the Ireland is concerned, just recently, a month ago I believe, on one of the pigeon network sites, there was a pigeon sold for €75,000.
What?
By a guy down in Dublin.
That's incredible.
Yes. Now, as far as the system is concerned, the breeding season generally starts around about January. The young birds that are bred from January on start racing the middle of July through to the end of September. The old bird races, they start in April, and the most common form of racing pigeons nowadays is on a widowhood system, where you take the hen away from the cock sent to the race and returns to the hen.
Wow.
To give extra motivation, because we all like a wee bit of the other now.
We all like a wee bit of motivation now, friends. You know you crack there.
As far as this club is concerned, generally speaking, the pigeons are race marked on a Friday night for races down to the south of Ireland. From races across the Channel into Wales, the south of England and France, they're race marked 2, sometimes 3 days before the actual liberation. They're transported on pigeon transporters that are specific for the transportation of pigeons, and there are rules and regulations about the number of pigeons that you can put into individual crates. The races are controlled by specialists, we hope, that take good note of the weather conditions, because clearly if the weather is very bad, the pigeons will not be released.
Yes.
Now, when they are released, normally down Ireland on a Saturday morning, the time is phoned through or put on the internet, so that people know exactly what time the pigeons have been released. Each individual fancier have distances from that particular race point. So when all the pigeons are released, the one that comes home the fastest, not necessarily the earliest, because people fly different distances, is the winner of the race. There are pools involved. Competition can be very keen. The winner is congratulated every week, as good sportsmen will do, although deep down they're very disappointed that they won themselves.
There was a good bit of excitement on in here when they were going through the results, weren't
there? Yes, indeed.
You know,
it's very, very anxious. Everybody plays the cards very close to their chest, not wanting to give away their time until the result is published. As far as the membership is concerned, the ages would vary from something like 12 or 13 through to the late 70s. It is a very, very popular sport. It's, as I said earlier, very, very competitive. And we hope that it lasts a long, long time. Pigeons as well have got a history of being helping the war effort during the First and Second World War. Pigeons would be released over in Germany or in France with messages attached to their legs to return to the owner's address in England or in Ireland, with messages about where the German forces are or whatever.
Wow.
I think that's.
But as
far as the Friday, I should have said on Friday night, when the pigeons are race marked and put on the hampers to be collected by the transporter, individual members have clocks, electronic clocks, in the majority of instances, although some people still use the manual clock. The manual clock users have little race rubbers placed on the pigeon's leg with a duplicate of the number on that rubber ring held. And on Friday night, when the clock is opened up, the pigeon comes home first of all, is clocked into the clock, and then the clocks are opened by the officials in the club to determine what time that particular pigeon has arrived home at. As far as the electronic clocks are concerned, the pigeons, when they return home to the individual location, they cross over a pad.
Yes.
The clock electronically records the time. The little clock, similar to this one,
Yes.
is brought down to the club on the Saturday at a particular time. We normally come at 5 o'clock, and the clock is read out, the time of the arrivals of the pigeons for that particular fancier is recorded, and results are worked out. That's a sample of the electronic clock. This is a sample of the normal timing clock, which is not electronic, the older style. Right. Basically, when the pigeon arrives, the fancier catches the pigeon, removes the rubber ring from its leg, places it in the lever there, and then presses the button, and that records the actual time.
That's unreal, isn't it?
In the electronic device, that is, the times are already recorded on there, and that is put into a feeder.
So there's absolutely no cheating that fella there. Is it? Yeah. So it's the digital version of this.
Yes. The advantage of this is that you don't have to actually physically catch the bird when it returns from the race.
You can sit back and enjoy the race.
It just passes over the pad and records.
That's incredible.
Electronically.
That's incredible.
The result is worked out, and as I said earlier, it's the bird that has the fastest speed, the fastest velocity, as we call it, in yards per minute. So that, as I said earlier, again, everybody has a separate distance from the particular race point. So the secretary will calculate how long the pigeon has taken to fly that distance, divide one into the other to arrive at the best velocity.
Right, we got you now.
All right.
We got you now. It's unbelievable. You know, you don't think as a non-pigeon fancier, I didn't know much about them, but I'm only getting to learn about them now. They have got like a built-in compass in their. Is that true? Like because they do fly back home, don't they?
Homing instinct.
Yes.
The happier you make them, the better results you get.
That's right.
It's incredible.
The more highly motivated, and as Ron says, the happier you make them, the more likely you are to achieve success. And it is a 365 day a year job. You can't relax at all if you want to be successful.
You have to keep going every day.
Yes, a lot of people, of course, just have it as a hobby. They're not really interested in being that successful. But the top people, like Ron Williamson, is at it almost 24 hours a day.
Wow.
365.
I'm impressed, Ron, I'm impressed.
And he doesn't try to win.
He doesn't try. How many birds would you have, Ron?
Here in Newry, about 200.
About 200?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
New ones, no birds.
How many birds is in the club? if
Well,
you like?
the race last night, there was 761 pigeons
My goodness.
sent to the race. Normally the numbers, depending on the distance, we've only just started the season, so the
Right.
distance from the race today was 105 miles. But when it gets into France, it's 500 miles, there'll be less birds go.
Right, right. And how long would it roughly take a bird to fly 100 miles? Just for-
Normally they will do, with no wind assistance, 50 mile an hour. If the wind is
This is
against,
unreal.
if the wind is against them, then it can be 40 miles an hour. If the wind's in their favour, it can be 75 miles an hour.
It's unreal, isn't it? You don't think it, like a smaller bird that you take home it out the back in your shed,
Yes.
and then take it away in a box and let it go, and it'll actually come back again.
Yes.
It's absolutely
A
incredible.
lot of people will, when they hear the word pigeon, they associate the street pigeons
Yes,
in
yes.
Trafalgar Square, but it's comparing with racing pigeons, it's like comparing a donkey with a racehorse.
There you go. See, we're learning, friends. That's why we're here to learn about the sport of homing pigeon. You know, and it is very interesting when you go into the times. When you go through all these times and everything else, and where you have to take them and release them, even as far away as France,
Yes.
and they still make it back to here.
Yes.
It's simply mind blowing, you know.
They all obviously don't make it back.
Yeah.
Because there are so many hazards they have to overcome. Like when the wind's against them, the pigeons are very low, they hit wires. The raptor problem, peregrine falcons, sparrowhawks are predators for racing pigeons. And there's a...
I suppose the red kites are at it now too, are they?
No, well, they
No.
wouldn't be fast enough for the pigeon.
Right.
But certainly the peregrines and the sparrowhawks would be.
Yeah.
And they have a serious impact on the racing situation now throughout the UK and indeed throughout the world, because the raptors, particularly the peregrine falcon, is a protected species, but the RSPB have gone way over the top now, and there's countries full of them, which is having a serious impact on the returns that our pigeons have from the races.
Especially with all your good pigeons running. I mean,
Well, laden pigeons, everybody's pigeons.
Everybody, yeah.
If you're in the first batch, the falcons are hungry and they've taken the first ones. You get pigeons
Unreal, isn't it?
damaged every week.
it's just when you start to
Real
think
good
about
ones
it.
don't appear, but you just have to keep racing and fighting against it. Like that's all we do, fly away and try our best.
And try and recoup them and
Yes, rebreed and just walk away the best we can.
So it's a year-long
There's nothing
sport.
protecting them. There's nothing protecting the pigeons, like.
Well, there's nothing to protect. I find that strange, especially when it's a sport.
Yeah.
It's the sporting end of things, you know, and then you have some good expensive boards and that as well.
Everybody
you know.
has good ones.
Yeah, well, they all
you
do.
don't like losing, and it's always the ones that win the races that you will lose. The boards that's up front.
And I suppose it hits you hard enough then,
Oh,
doesn't
it
it?
is surely. You get attached to boards too.
Yeah.
So you do.
Because they're pets, you know, as well, aren't they?
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
You know, particularly the good ones, you get very attached to them and very close to them.
And are they easy to start a breeding programme with them? Is it a easy enough system to work out?
Well, it's
The first thing you got to remember is you got to mate a cock with a hen. You can't have two cocks.
Well, I was fully aware of that one there. But that was for the benefit of our viewers out there. Who are a bit, if you don't know your cocks from your hens, you know, go to the mirror, get naked and have a look in the mirror. But yeah, I hear you. So it's an amazing. You guys have completely amazed me. I didn't know there was all this to do with pigeons. You
Oh,
know.
there's lots more. There's lots more. If you're in them, you learn every day with pigeons. Like, see, you know, sometimes you send your best, and you don't get them, and sometimes there's erratic races where the weather or the falcons will interrupt the performance of the board. You know, and you may be sitting waiting. Comes dark, your best pigeon arrives, and you're glad to see it. Like, see, or maybe the wings out of it or something like that.
It's unbelievable. So many factors, isn't there?
So many factors. So many factors.
Oh,
But everybody keeps going, everybody keeps smiling.
I know, because when we come in here, they were shouting and roaring in there, they were checking all the times, there was laughter, it was great crack, we couldn't even film, friends, there was that much laughter going on. And then when they took the camera out, Bobby wasn't all the way.
Bobby's the winner of the day.
Bobby's the winner of the day. It's fantastic. You've learned us, you've educated us, another bit of education on the Banter show. Friends, I have to say, it's been really interesting. Thanks for talking to us.
My
Ron.
pleasure.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much.
Honest to God, John and yourself, brilliant. Colon. I'm blown away. So this is all high-tech electronic pigeon racing, friends, and it's a big sport. And this club's been going 60 years.
Over 60 years.
Wow. I'm sure it'll be going for another 60 at least.
Indeed it will.
It will indeed.
God willing.
God willing. And the McCabe's are over in the corner there too. It's a good buzz in here, I have to say. You have learned it. You definitely, friends, tune in, have a look at this. It's very interesting. So from now, from me and the guys here in the Pigeon Club, you know the crack, friends. We're on our way. Razor, we're out of here.
Razor.
From me and everybody here at Newry Homing Pigeon Society, Razor!